Have you ever stopped to think about when your story with your child really begins? We often picture it as that first moment they cry, or the first time you lock eyes. But what if I told you that your first hello, that very first connection happens way before any of that, in the quiet, warm world of the womb? And this isn't just some poetic idea. It's a real biological fact. That amazing bond, it all starts with sound. It starts with a voice they learn to trust before they've ever even seen a smile.
So the big question is, how on earth is this possible? The science behind this whole thing is it's absolutely fascinating. So let's dive in and explore exactly how your baby learns to hear you. Okay, so first things first, we have to get a picture of the world your baby is actually growing in. And I'll tell you right now, it is not the silent, peaceful retreat you might be imagining.
Yeah, we all have this idea of the womb as this quiet, calm little sanctuary, right? Well, the reality is completely different. It's actually a bustling, super noisy place, just humming with sound all the time. And when I say noisy, I mean it. Get this, the sound levels in there can reach 70 to 90 decibels. To put that in perspective, that's as loud as a vacuum cleaner or a lawnmower running, 24/7. It is anything but quiet.
So you might be wondering, well, how can a baby hear anything specific with all that racket? This is where it gets really cool. The mother's body acts like this brilliant built-in sound system, a natural low-pass filter. It tones down all the sharp, high-pitched noises, but lets the deep, rhythmic, low-frequency sounds come through nice and clear. Think of it as the bass and the melody of language.
So what's on this womb playlist? Well, it's a constant concert. You've got the steady beat of the mother's heart, the whoosh of her blood flow, all the gurgles from her digestive system, and, right in the middle of it all, the star of the show, the rhythm and melody of her voice.
All right, so the environment is all set up for listening. But when does the listener actually, come online? The whole journey of developing hearing is pretty incredible, and it happens step by step. Let's just walk through how this works. It starts crazy early, around week 9 when the first little bits of the ears start to form. By week 18, they can actually hear those first internal sounds. Then, fast forward to week 24, and they're starting to react to sounds from the outside world. But the real magic happens around week 28. That's the big milestone where they can actually pick out their mother's voice from everything else.
Now, in that whole symphony of sounds, one voice becomes the absolute headliner. We're talking about the mother's voice. It's not just another sound in the mix. It's basically a superpower.
It just cuts right through all that background noise with a kind of clarity that no other sound can really match. But why? How does her voice get this special VIP treatment?
Well, it's all thanks to this brilliant two-pathway system. First, there's the external path. Her voice travels through the air, just like any other sound. And yeah, it gets a bit muffled. But, and this is the key, there's also an internal path. The vibrations from her voice travel directly through her bones and her body, right to the baby. It's like having a private internal speaker system. And there's a scientific name for this. It's called bone conduction. It basically bypasses all the muffling stuff and delivers her voice with amazing clarity. This is exactly why her voice becomes the anchor of their entire auditory world.
Okay, so this all sounds incredible, right? But how do we really know that babies aren't just passively hearing these sounds? How do we know they're actually listening, learning, and, get this, remembering?
So, does any of this actually stick with them? You bet it does. And the answer comes from some seriously clever experiments that prove memory is there from the very moment they're born.
So, let's go back to 1980. A couple of researchers wanted to know the answer to that exact question. They took brand new babies, just hours old, to see if they already preferred their own mom's voice over anyone else's.
The way they set it up was just brilliant. They gave the babies a special pacifier that was hooked up to a tape recorder. So if they sucked in one specific pattern, they'd hear a recording of their mom. If they sucked in a different pattern, they'd hear a recording of a stranger's voice.
And the results were just mind-blowing. The newborns figured out the system almost immediately. They intentionally changed how they were sucking just so they could hear their mother's voice more often. I mean, they were actively working to listen to her. That's not just recognition, that's a clear preference.
And if you need more proof, there was another amazing study. This time, moms-to-be read The Cat in the Hat out loud over and over again during their pregnancy. And what happened after they were born? Their babies showed a definite preference for that story, with its unique rhythm and melody over a totally new one. They remembered the pattern.
Okay, so we've established that they can hear, and we know they can remember. But so what?
Why does any of this matter? Well, it turns out this early listening isn't just about comfort. It's actively shaping the very architecture of their developing brain.
Check this out. A Stanford study looked at premature babies. Some of them got to listen to recordings of their mother's voices, and others didn't. The result? The babies who heard their mom's voice showed way more developed brain pathways for language. Her voice was literally building the foundation for how they would communicate for the rest of their lives.
And the benefits are they're profound and they're lifelong. This is the very beginning of learning language, getting used to the unique music of a native tongue. It's a huge tool for emotional regulation. Her voice can actually slow a baby's heart rate down, calming them. And maybe most importantly, it's the very first thread woven into the incredible bond between a parent and their child.
So, that voice, your voice, it's doing so much more than you could possibly imagine. It's a comforting anchor, it's a brain builder, and it's the start of everything. The most incredible thing to realize is that you don't have to wait until they're born to start that relationship. Your first conversation, well, it's already begun.